Welcome. Today, we're digging into the incredible 90-day hunt for the assassins of a former prime minister. It's a story of how investigators managed to crack a case that started out as a complete and total mystery, a blind case as they called it, with no suspects, no leads, and pretty much no evidence.
So let's start by setting the scene on May 21st, 1991. It was one of those days where a series of seemingly small problems created this massive cascade of fateful events. First, a helicopter was grounded. Then, a departure was rushed. All these mounting delays meant Rajiv Gandhi arrived at his final rally incredibly late, walking right into a chaotic and expectant crowd. And just after 10:19 p.m., all that chaos, it turned into absolute tragedy.
And just like that, the man who spoke these words was gone. The assassination didn't just kill a former prime minister. For a lot of people, it really felt like it cut short a whole vision for India's future, and it left this void that would be felt for decades. In the immediate aftermath, with 18 people dead, including Rajiv Gandhi, India's top intelligence agencies were just scrambling. They had zero answers, no leads, no suspects. The whole nation was in shock, and its security apparatus was facing a moment of, national embarrassment. Now, what's really fascinating here is this term blind case. Think about it. When Mahatma Gandhi and Indira Gandhi were assassinated, their killers were caught right there on the spot. But this was completely different. The blast had basically vaporized the evidence, and the people responsible had seemingly vanished into thin air. It instantly became the country's most mysterious political murder. So, in response to this massive crisis, a high-powered Special Investigation Team, or SIT, was put together. It was led by Dr. Karthikeyan, an officer who was known for being able to handle intense political pressure. This elite team had one singular, incredibly urgent mission: find the truth before all the rumors and conspiracy theories could tear the country apart. With the entire country demanding answers, the first real breakthrough came from the most unexpected place you could possibly imagine, buried deep within the wreckage of the crime scene itself. For days, the SIT really struggled. They were under immense pressure, chasing down every single rumor. But every path just led to a dead end. The case was completely, totally cold. And this is where a single object changed the entire course of the investigation. A forensic director who was just reading the newspaper happened to spot a camera lying in the debris in a press photo of the blast site. He immediately ordered his team, go find that. That camera, as it turned out, belonged to a young photographer who had died in the explosion. And on that camera's roll of film were 10 photographs. The final frames captured the moments just seconds before the explosion. One photo was the absolute key. It showed a woman in a very distinct green and orange salwar kameez holding a sandalwood garland. And right next to her, a man in a white kurta, watching everything intently. For the very first time, investigators had faces. Now, this visual clue was almost immediately confirmed by hard physical evidence. See, forensic teams had found these tiny wires at the scene tangled up with threads of green and orange cloth, and also scraps of blue denim. It was a perfect match. The woman in the picture was, without a single doubt, the suicide bomber. Okay, so with the faces of the assassins now identified, the SIT's next job was to answer the two biggest questions of all. Who were they? And why on earth did they do it? The investigation was about to blow wide open. The first huge clue came from a raid on the photographer Hari Babu's home. And there, they found LTTE propaganda, including a photo of its chief, Pravakaran. This pointed the investigation directly towards the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, a very powerful and ruthless militant group from Sri Lanka. The motive, as it turned out, was political revenge. The LTTE felt deeply, deeply betrayed by Rajiv Gandhi's 1987 decision to send an Indian peacekeeping force to Sri Lanka, which led to a really brutal war. Now, with Gandhi looking like he was going to win the 1991 elections, the LTTE was terrified the troops would return. To stop that from happening, their chief gave the green light for an assassination. Through a whole series of interrogations of captured sympathizers, the SIT started to piece together the core members of the hit squad. The man in white from that photo was identified as Sivarasan, the mastermind, also known as One-Eyed Jack. The bomber was a woman named Danu. Her backup was another woman named Shubha, and they were all being helped by local contacts, including Nalini and Murugan. So now, with the conspiracy pretty much unmasked, The entire focus of India's security forces shifted to a single objective: catching the mastermind, Sivarasan, alive.
What came next was one of the largest manhunts in Indian history. Sivarasan's face, with its really distinctive glass eye, was plastered on posters all across the country. A massive bounty was placed on his head, but he proved to be an incredibly cunning and elusive operative.
I mean, this guy was a true master of evasion. He was constantly changing disguises, from a priest to a Sikh, leading police on these wild goose chases. And in maybe his most audacious move, he and his accomplice Shubha traveled 350 kilometers from Madras to Bangalore, hidden in a secret chamber that was built inside an oil tanker, passing right through dozens of police checkpoints.
Finally, after weeks of just relentless searching, on August 18th, the SIT got the tip they had been waiting for. They tracked Sivarasan and his remaining accomplices to a small yellow house on the outskirts of Bangalore. The net was finally closing in.
But then, a catastrophic failure of coordination. As commandos were getting ready to storm the house, a local police official refused to give immediate permission. Then, a cyanide expert declared the commandos' antidotes had expired, forcing this critical, unbelievable delay while a fresh stock was flown in from another city. After a paralyzing 36-hour delay, the raid finally began. The commandos stormed the house, but it was too late. Sivarasan and his crew had ingested their cyanide capsules, the signature calling card of the LTTE. The mastermind was dead, and he had taken all of his secrets with him. The 90-day manhunt was over, but the story was far from finished. Sivarasan's death gave way to a really lengthy legal battle for his co-conspirators and left a lasting impact on the political landscape of India.
So in 1998, a special court sentenced all 26 of the accused people to death. But after years and years of appeals and mercy petitions, many were ultimately acquitted. The sentences for the key conspirators who were caught alive, people like Nalini and Murugan, were eventually reduced down to life imprisonment.
And the political fallout was just immense. The assassination didn't just end a life, you could argue it ended an entire era. As you can see from this chart, even though the Congress Party emerged as the largest party in the 1991 election, it still fell short of a majority. It really marked a turning point from which the party has never fully recovered its single-party dominance in Indian politics.
And that leaves us with the final, haunting question. The investigation was, without a doubt, a monumental success in identifying the immediate culprits. But with Sivarasan taking his own life, and with him any knowledge of potential international links or maybe other backers, we just have to ask, was the full, complete story behind the conspiracy lost forever?